Welcome everyone to this AMS session today. We have SquidGrow team with us. SquidGrow is a meme token named after the popular TV show Squid Game. SquidGrow is set out to be the biggest and the safest utility meme token on the Binance Smart Chain. Like always, this AMS session is for research purposes only. This is not a financial advice, and there's no commitment to the team. With that, I'd like to welcome Satoshi from SquidGrow. He is the CEO and the founder over there. If you can start out, Satoshi, introduce yourself, your experience, and give us the overview mission of SquidGrow.
Okay. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Satoshi. As I was introduced as, I am the owner and founder of SquidGrow. I got into the cryptocurrency market back in 2011 with Bitcoin. I first heard about Bitcoin in 2010. Took a little time to get into it. Had some friends that were actually into Bitcoin for private poker room tournaments, and that kind of got my foot in the door with the whole Bitcoin thing. Essentially, we'd transfer Bitcoin into the online poker room, and that's essentially was the currency. And, when we win or lose, we pull profit in Bitcoin. So the whole concept of the whole cryptocurrency at first was a little new to me. I heard about it and I said, oh, sure, it's probably some kind of scam. And it was being used on some darknet websites. So, I kind of wrote it off as being illegal. So I didn't really give it much of a mind. And then, as I said, I had some friends that were into Bitcoin and I started educating myself on it, man. I was just super intrigued with the idea about the whole concept of, Bitcoin being used as currency, and it's not mintable, so it's not like it can be, the supply can be doubled or tripled or quadrupled as, one person can see fit. It's kind of, what's out there is only going to be in circulation. Kind of fast forwarding a little bit, obviously, I dabbled in other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum when that came out. I bought into that pretty good. Litecoin, I looked into that, Zcoin. There were some other ones along the way. But I'm sure everybody really wants to hear the SHIB story, so I'll kind of get straight to that. My story with Shiba Inu was essentially this. I had a really good friend of mine that was in the stock market. He played stocks, and there was one day that he was kind of bragging to me about his year he had in the stock market, talking about he had a 30% gain in the market. And I just kind of laughed at him, telling him, I experienced 30% gains, sometimes in a day with different cryptocurrencies. So, we kind of talked in depth on that and kind of left it there. And a little bit later, I found out that he had actually took it upon himself to actually start researching it. And him and about 6 other friends, kind of dove into the whole cryptocurrency thing. It was actually through these friends that I actually heard about Shiba Inu for the first time. They discovered it August 1st. And my buddy was calling me about it, trying to get me to invest. And I was kind of hesitant. And through the persistence of him over a couple hours, I decided that I was going to buy into SHIB. And I thought it'd be hilarious. All of these 7 friends had invested $1,000 total into SHIB. And I thought it'd be hilarious if I just bought more than them. And so that's exactly what I did. I invested a total over the next couple of days, a total of $8,000. And, everybody knows kind of how SHIB went almost immediately. The early investors were upside down. But the community really started driving behind SHIB. They started spreading awareness, hitting the Discords and the different communities, just kind of getting the word out there. And I really looked at that and saw, kind of the bigger picture. If we could maintain the momentum of that, and really spread the awareness, this could potentially be something big. And it was a life-changing investment for me. Kind of things just kind of fell into place. My cryptocurrency experience, meeting with my buddy, getting him to convert to crypto, and him finding this project and bringing it to me, kind of everything just aligned. SHIB was one of those things that, when I first bought, I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I wasn't sure how it would do, in the beginning days, as most early crypto investments, when you get in day one, day two, you're never really sure. But like I said, based on the strength of the community as it was growing, I really started believing in it, and definitely wrote it off as a long-term hold. Anybody that knows the story knows that I was very inactive with my wallet, and in November, I decided to split my wallet up some. There were some reasonings behind that. People that are close to me actually know. But essentially, the percentage that I held in my wallet started becoming an issue within the community. So, I kind of split that up some. That made some major waves in the crypto space. Everybody knows, people started putting out articles and videos and speculating what it was that I was doing. Am I looking for exchange liquidity, so on and so forth. That was not it. I was simply, one of the main reasons was I was tired of getting dusted. I was tired of getting, custom NFTs dropped to me, with malicious links in there. Essentially everybody was trying to get me to click something so they could drain my wallets. And so I split my wallets up. They're not very hard to find if you know how to look, but it definitely made it a little harder for people to track it down. And through the duration of my crypto experience, I've been involved in a couple, honeypots and a couple scams, and some of my close friends have as well. One of my best friends, the Huntsman's on here, and my first rug pull was a project that I actually got him into, and we were kind of in the competing stage where we're trying to buy more than one another, so we're in that competitive going back and forth between top holder and second holder. And the project was actually doing really well. And one day the developer decided he had enough liquidity and decided to pull it. And, I woke up and my investment was completely gone. And, over the next, several months, it just started becoming a bigger problem in the crypto space, whether it was on the Ethereum side or the BSC side, with, as a lot of people are calling them these days, bad actors, launching projects with the intent to solely steal money. And one of my good friends, I finally had talked him into buying into crypto, and his first investment was $50,000 in a fair launch, no cap project, and he lost his 50 grand immediately. And he was telling me he's never going to invest in crypto again. It's all a scam, this, that, and the other. It is. I am pleased to say he is now back into the crypto space, but it's that kind of mentality, of new investors that decide that they're going to dabble in crypto and they get wrecked that first investment, and they just write all the positive projects out there off as scams, So essentially with SquidGrow, it was conceptualized in November of 21. It was November 2nd of 21 is actually when I was emailed the contract code. And I'm only an investor. I'm not a dev. So, launching a crypto project was kind of new to me. So there was definitely a learning curve for me. And during the process of me trying to learn how to launch it, Squid Games, the scam token popped up. And I just wrote it off as I was late to the game. And I was going to shelf it. So I just kind of focused on, my other crypto investments. But as time went on, more and more, a big problem in this space was scamming. And talking to my close friend, the Huntsman, and also meeting up with RDub in a private whale room, started sharing the views on the crypto space and the issues that the space is facing. And, a very small number of the world population actually invest in crypto. It's not really a real common thing if you look at the overall picture of the population. And, the population that is learning about crypto, they hear about the negative things of crypto. So we decided that we were going to launch a project that was going to be safe. And obviously we say that because we know our intentions. Obviously, our community, doesn't know us, so they don't know our true intentions. I hope by this point that, the community and everybody listening actually know our true intentions with it, which is to provide a safe investment for our investors in our community. But not to make this too long-winded, essentially, RW and I decided that we were going to launch a project, and I told him, look, man, I have a contract code that I put on the shelf that I already had ready to go with logos. If we want to look into that, we can do something. So he agreed. RW and I share the same morals and views. And then it was all, well, are we going to do a pre-sale? We're going to do private sale. We're going to do fair launch. And we just kind of decided to do the fair launch thing. Initial liquidity on SquidGrow was initially 12 BNB. It was super low. But right after launch, almost immediately, we realized there was some issues with the contract. The Uniswap router was actually coded into the contract instead of Pancake. So we had major issues from the get-go. So we stopped trading. Luckily, liquidity was not locked. At the time that we ceased trading, we had about 22.5 BNB for liquidity. And within 24 hours, we got the new contract code out, launched, airdropped our 85 investors, and launched the contract that everybody knows today. And we hit the ground running. That first day, we ran up to about a 400K market cap, which was pretty impressive in itself. And we just did all the basics of the call channels and just everything we could think of to spread awareness of the project. We did, but kind of touch base on the reasoning, man. We just want to give, our community and the investors just a safe place that they can, invest their money. They go to sleep at night not having to worry about us doing anything malicious to take their money. And as I said, I hope at this point, everybody listening in the community, know our true intentions. We're doing everything we can in the background to further this project, whether it's exchange listings or articles or billboards. We are just doing everything we can, and I'm funding everything out of pocket. The transactional tax, is going to liquidity. Just to give a perspective in that, let me look at our actual liquidity pool right now. So we got about $687,000 in liquidity. I've spent almost that out of my personal pocket. There was a big time period that I had spent more out of my personal wallet than we ever had in liquidity at any given time. Obviously, with our recent blow up, liquidity has grown a little more. But I've spent close to $500,000 out of my own personal wallet, my own personal funds, to develop this project and pay for listings and utilities and marketing. So, I truly believe in this, and it's not, for personal gain for me. I had a small percentage of team allocation tokens in the beginning, and I gave those out to the community, to the whales and also to our big community in the form of airdrops. As I said, this project is not for me to profit or gain. I'm financially stable. It's for the community, man. It's for the everyday investors. It's for the investors that, have $100 to their name and they're looking for somewhere safe to invest to make some money to put some food on the table, or for the single parent that needs to pay rent. This is an environment where you can park your money and trust and believe that we're going to be doing everything we possibly can to get you gains on that investment and spread awareness of the project. So with that, I'm kind of going to conclude my little rant.
Wow. Yeah, it's, I did read some of the articles that you said. There were a lot of speculations, but I did not know that was actually yours, your wallet that people wrote about. I myself, like you, I'm actually one of the very first investors in Shiba Inu. At that time, it was very early on, and I didn't think much about meme coins. I didn't think I was going to pop up and grew where it's at today. I made 30,000 off it around there, and I thought I was so lucky, But looking back, man, I didn't have the wisdom to hold like you. So I applaud you for that. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, I've got some buddies that actually pulled out about 150K kind of early on, and they'd be worth the high millions,
Yeah. So, so because of that, I'm kind of changing my perspective on investing. And I like CZ said, you can hold, you can get rich, right? So I'm not sure how you did it, even back in the day, for you to hold it that long. That's amazing, man. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I held Bitcoin heavy for 7 years before I actually started pulling decent profit from it. So I mean, I'm just a holder, man. With Shiba Inu, let's say in November, when my wallet was worth billions, if I was to pull that, there is speculation that I couldn't have, but you are actually mistaken. I could have drained Uniswap, and Uniswap put out an article about it, that if the Shiba whale was to dump, it would leave them with $5 million in liquidity on Uniswap. So think about the impact on that. Not only would I destroy my beloved community, but all the other projects that are attached to Uniswap. I mean, think about the repercussions of that. So many different communities would be wrecked by that. It would destroy, everything that I kind of hold near and dear to me. I love crypto, man. It's definitely set me free, financially in a lot of ways. And my view on it is obviously everybody gets into crypto to make some money. A lot of people don't understand price impact and liquidity and that type of thing. But, my belief on it is, long-term holders make the big money. And if you have the sense, you pull your profit slowly. You don't rip it out, because not only are you going to hurt the community and the chart by ripping out, there's going to be a price impact. So if you are thinking you're going to get out, let's say 100 grand, and there's a 20% price impact, plus if the project has a sell tax, you're not walking away with 100 grand. You're getting considerably less, So, but if you pull, let's say, a couple thousand a day slowly, I mean, there's a good chance that you can get most of that money out, and you're not going to startle the community. You're not going to wreck the project. You're not going to tear up the liquidity. You're going to do it in a responsible way, and it's not going to hinder the growth of the project. So I'm a real true believer in, slow pulling if you decide you want to pull profit. Everybody's got their own little numbers in mind that, oh, if I reach this number, I'm going to start pulling. And there's nothing wrong with that. Pulling profit, pulling your initial, I mean, that's healthy, but ripping big profits out, that's damaging to the community and to the project in itself. So I definitely preach, when people want to pull profit, that they do it slowly in any project, my project, any other project, it maximizes the gains that you can actually get out of the project.
100%. Yeah. And I'm actually, you have a very unique story. Seems like you're a very unique guy as well, because a lot of the investors are not very mindful, right? Or not responsible investor, right? They just want to dump the whole thing. But like you said, especially in the meme tokens, right? You got to know what the price impact, and you got to know the LP ratio and things like that. Because if you don't know that, like you said, you're not getting what you think you get out of it. So that's very important. But man, I gotta applaud you for still hanging around here. I mean, after making, I would say probably billions now, right? Billion, millions, 100 millions. And you're still within the crypto space, because it just helped the people, the investors. Because for most people, that's hard to do, man. Like, I mean, I gotta say, if I make $1 billion or 100 million, I hate to say I'm out of here. I'll be at the beach every day drinking some shots and pina colada and shit like that. So
yeah, I mean, some people have that mindset. You get your money out and you're done with it, and you don't ever need to work again. But what about the everyday investors? If you have the tools and the means and the knowledge and the connections, you can teach other people how to achieve what you've achieved, and that actually is that is leaving behind a legacy. For others to follow in your footsteps and achieve the same thing that you have. If you have the knowledge and the connections and the ability to do that, I mean, think about all the other people that you can, affect their lives in a positive way.
Well said, brother. Well said. That's amazing. So with that, let's talk about, let's introduce to the community about the rest of your team. You have an amazing story. Let's hear about your other team as well.
Hey, R-Dub?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I am Ardub. I originally got into crypto as well in 2011. When I first got into crypto, it was obviously Bitcoin at that time. I definitely didn't purchase as much as Satoshi did, but it definitely fueled my interest in crypto. And I guess over the following decade, I was in and out, kind of just investing in top 200 coins on exchanges and stuff like that. Watching the market go up and down, and just discovering what it was all about. But it was probably 18 months or so ago that I came into the BSC space for the first time. And at that time, I was an investor. I had no idea how much the BSC was, the wild, wild west, really. And when you first come in and you don't really understand what's going on, you jump into these projects and you see people saying, different things, and you believe that it's all true. So you kind of, try and diamond hand a few projects and end up, liquidity gets pulled, or, trading stops or whatever it is. And, so I learned all those lessons along the way as well. But, I won't take up too much time. After a little bit of time in the BSC, I ended up making some good connections, and I started working for an elite whale group calling, I guess, what you would call promising projects. And it was in a sense through that I was brought into another private whale group, which is really where I met Shibtoshi. And he's kind of touched on that already a little bit, but we probably spent the next couple of months in this private whale group, just discussing crypto in general, the BSC, what we thought about the sentiment in the space, and also, our future plans, and if we ever really wanted to launch a project. And it was really through that, and just having the same vision and the same views. We were kind of investing in a number of different projects together as well, having some good experiences and some bad experiences. But really, through that's where the idea for SquidGrow was born. And as Shibtoshi said, we just wanted to launch a project that was different to everything else in the BSC, something where people could feel safe, that they could invest their money and go to sleep at night and not worry that they would wake up to no money at all. And, I think, especially looking at our chart at the moment there as well, you can see that people are holding differently to other projects in the BSC at the moment. Usually if there's, a 2x or a 3x or a 10x, you see this massive dump afterwards because people are scared that that's the end. But, we've really built up a solid community here. And Shibtoshi and I are getting countless DMs every day just saying, there's something different about this one. But yeah, that's pretty much my story anyway. Dane, if you want to touch on yourself.
Sure, I won't take up too much time on it. It's awesome hearing you guys again, man. Killers. A little bit about me. I've been in crypto for 7 years. I have a pretty unique background. I was an athlete in college all the way for 4 years. Came out of that a little bit confused and lost. So I got into real estate and bartending and multi-level marketing, all sorts of sales stuff. I was in college for cybersecurity, which I have a degree in. So I was always interested in crypto. And in fact, I knew what it was as far back as 2010 with my cybersecurity friends in my classes talking about it and me just saying that was dumb. So I regretted that. But eventually I came into it in 2016 and have not looked back. A lot of people came into crypto in 2016, 2017, kind of took a break with the bear markets. I've been doing this obsessively since then. So for me, I guess, technical analysis was my favorite thing for a long time. And I was just a trader, lone wolf in it, browsing Reddit and all the good things and the Bitcoin talk forums, etc. And that didn't work out so well for me, of course, with the not understanding the cycle patterns at the time and being kind of a noob. So I found DeFi with Ethereum and took a big interest in that at its early level. Going through Solidity and its basic forms and, find ways to passive income. So I did that. And then eventually in 2020, started getting into the project management side. And the big ones for me that were my home runs kind of were Hokkaido, Kishu, HODL Token, more recently Floki, and then Catcoin. So I was at the helm of most of those. And, rode those from tops to bottom and diamond handed them all basically. And, so here I am still doing what I love, helping projects grow. And, in the process of making all these great connections over the years, I've joined a company called Blockchain Brothers. And we basically just help Shibtoshi and RDub use their expertise to sort of get where they want to go fast. Because we have so many connections all through the space. So, whether it's an exchange, whether it's an influencer, whether it's this, that, and the other from a developer standpoint or anything, we're able to connect that very quickly. And, it's a pleasure to work with Shibtoshi and RDub doing that. That's just a little about me. But, this project itself, SquidGrow, wow, is it's full of potential. I say there's basically three things you need in cryptos to succeed right now. The first one is a community and passion, right? You have to have that. And that's tough to get in the bear market because you got to get something to get people excited about. And, utility is one of those things. It can also be intangibles. And I believe Shibtoshi's story is a big intangible, as well as the, of course, infamous Squid Game TV show. So, playing on both of those, you have that second thing, which is that wow factor. And then, of course, the third is, even with the wow factor or with the community, you've got to have some spending power and firepower. And we have plenty of that, to say the least, as you've heard. So, all three of those things together, you've got a very special project. And not only that, it's chock full of utility, which I'm sure we'll get in here in a second. So couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. These guys are some real dudes. And it's been a pleasure to work with so far. And I'm very excited to show our awesome community, and for those new investors that are coming in, how much more this project is going to put out, because, it's been a frenzy so far, none of us really sleeping, but it really truly is the beginning for what these guys are capable of. And, we'll get more into that perhaps right now. So that's it for my little rant too.
Appreciate it for the introduction, 100%. I just in talking to you guys for a bit, I can sense the honesty and the transparency within your team. And you guys seems to have a vast experience in the crypto space as well. So that helps a lot. But like you said, I think, you guys have a very unique story behind it. Combining that with the popular movie or TV show, and you guys' intentions are to be honest, to scam investors. I think it will catch on. And it seems like it's already reflected in the chart already. I've been paying attention to it quite a bit, actually. So yeah, man, great job so far on it. So let's go on, because it's it's already live. I'd like to get to the basic of it first, right? Let's break that basic stuff. When was the project launch, and how was it launched, and what initial market cap did you guys start out at?
Yeah, so the project was launched on the 18th of June. It was a stealth launch, and our initial market cap was around 25 to 30K. But Shibtoshi, do you want to touch on the story of the initial launch and stuff?
I touched on that a little earlier, but as I said, our initial liquidity was 12 BNB. Starting market cap, I believe, was, as RDub said, between 25 and 30K. And there was the first launch occurred June 17th, and immediately we had to stop trading because, as I said earlier, there was an issue within the contract. The Uniswap router was coded into the contract, could not be changed, so we had to cease trading. Obviously, we announced that in the Telegram. Within 24 hours, we rolled out another contract, which is the one that everybody knows today. At the time of liquidity transfer over to the new contract, it was about 22.5 BNB. It put us at about a 35K initial market cap.
Yeah, so starting market cap was around 25K. And the current market cap right now is at 21 million.
Yeah,
we hit 1,000 X's yesterday.
Yeah.
At 25 mil.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. Especially given that, we're in the down market right now. So for you guys to do 1,000X, that's amazing. And I can see why. You guys have a very unique story and very honest people. So let's talk about the the tokenomics there, to Shobi. What is the tokenomic breakdown on that?
Essentially, we're not a reward token. We have an 8% buy, 8% sell tax, but you can earn rewards in our staking pools. We offer native token staking that pays in our coin. It's a 50% APY, and if you want to stake LP with BNB and Squid, it pays 500% APY. And the first 30 days of our staking pools going live, I gave out over $300,000 to our investors.
Okay, so you do have your regular staking, but you also have LP staking as well. And LP, you said it's a 500% APY?
Yeah, that's correct. So essentially, you take your Squid token, you go to PancakeSwap, you essentially add liquidity by pairing it with equal amount of BNB. For example, $1,000 in Squid and $1,000 in BNB. That converts to Cake LP. You take that Cake LP to earn the 500% APY. You go to our website, you connect with the LP staking pool, and you deposit the Cake LP. And that earns you 500% APY in Squid token.
Regarding the tax, the 8% tax buy and the 8% tax sell, I don't see a breakdown on that. Now, you guys just kind of like assess, where you're at and make that decision accordingly. Or is there a breakdown as far as, what percent go to development, what percent go into marketing?
As I said earlier, 100% of our taxes goes to LP. My goal with that is strengthening the LP pool. So we don't really have a marketing wallet. The marketing wallet is my personal wallet, which I have set funds aside to spread awareness of the project and develop utilities.
That is very different. So just to recap, you fund the marketing yourself and straight to the LP.
Yes, as I stated a little earlier in the AMA, there was a time that I had spent more money on development and marketing on the project than we had ever had in liquidity at any given time. Obviously, with our recent blow up, the LP pool is actually now a little bigger. So the LP pool is now about $100K more than I've spent out of pocket, to develop. But definitely still have funds on deck that keep pulling the triggers in a lot of different areas. So, that's, I'm funding it, out of personal pocket.
And that I'll just add to that that includes not just marketing and development, but also exchange listings are being currently we are live on 3 exchanges, like centralized exchanges now, and we've got another one that we've announced launching going live on Monday, and those also are being paid for by Shibtoshi.
Yeah, so essentially, within the first 3 weeks, I paid for the listing for Bitmark and BKEX out of personal funds. And then, in addition to that, we are now live on CoinTiger, and we announced the listing on Dcoin. Obviously, the last 2 exchanges, we are trying to get our overall volume up. So that was the intention with that. In addition to the Bitmark exchange, we have hired CLS market makers. Anybody that's aware of the top 50 exchanges, you have to have a market making company to keep the order books full. And CLS, they are one of the top 3 market making companies in the crypto space. And we have partnered with them to help achieve the future goals of SquidGrow. So they can essentially, provide market making companies for all the exchanges that we are targeting.
Yeah, very unique, guys. I mean, we bring a lot of projects in, especially the meme tokens, right? Usually there's always a wallet, right, or a tax that goes into marketing. For you to fund the marketing and then, a lot of other things like an LP, like you said, I think that speaks volume for the level of commitment that you guys have for the project. So, that's really good to see. Now, let's talk about, on your website there's a section called Lottery. What is that about?
I'll handle that one, Ardub.
Okay, sweet.
So as I don't think I've touched base on it. So all of our utilities have been developed in-house. It's kind of a control aspect of quality control. With the lottery contract, I actually outsourced that to a fork of the Pancake Swap lottery and purchased it. Well, I had my dev purchase it from a real well-known company. Unfortunately, the lottery contract that we got had some malicious code in it. And as it turns out, there was about 50 other cryptocurrencies that ran the same contract code that were affected. So essentially, we essentially had a breach in our contract. So when that was discovered, when it was brought to our attention, we resolved it immediately. Obviously, we took the lottery staking offline. I got all 11 people that were affected into a room and personally reimbursed all of them out of my own pocket for all their losses that they incurred. And as well as obviously addressing it with the community and kind of telling the community what was going on. At SquidGrow, we are extremely transparent about any issues that we might face. I'd like to say within the time that we realized there was an issue, we had it fully resolved within 3 days. I do plan on rolling a lottery contract back out. Obviously, it's not going to be the same lottery contract, and it will be heavily audited before it goes live. But that's what happened with our lottery contract. There was a lot of other cryptocurrencies that ran the same code that were affected. A lot of these cryptocurrencies rewarded in BUSD, and there was millions upon millions of dollars stolen from these different projects. The vendor of that contract lottery code are working on reimbursing the projects that were affected, but I didn't want to wait for that reimbursement. I figured I'd pull the trigger and just cover the losses out of pocket of the 11 people that were affected. So as I stated earlier, we got them all into a room, verified the loss, and airdropped them the tokens that they did lose. But as of now, our lottery contract is not live.
And that is amazing. And for you, seems like a very stand-up guy. And you guys held yourself accountable to it. And pay the people for the mistake that you did not know, right? Because you got the contract from somewhere else. But that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Wasn't intentional. It's unfortunate that it happened, but we made all of our investors that were affected whole, and moved on. We're going to go with a stronger contract, one that's more heavily vetted. And as I said earlier, will be audited before it is offered to the community.
We were also very lucky as well because of how quickly we got onto it. There was only 11 people that were affected, and it was a reasonably small amount of money in the scheme of things. Whereas some of these other projects across the BSC that were affected, they were using with their lottery things like stablecoin BUSD, and some of them lost up into the millions. Obviously, not possible to reimburse from a lot of those projects. So we were very fortunate in that we, found the breach very quickly. As Shibtoshi said, got everyone into a room and they were reimbursed.
Awesome. All right. So it looks like right now, regarding utility, you have the staking and you also have the LP staking. Let's talk about other utilities and utilities you guys plan for the future.
I'll handle that one as well. Although at SquidGrow, we have the motto under promise, over deliver. Recently, we did announce our Ethereum bridge that we're coming out with, and I only did that because we were 110% sure that we were going to be able to deliver that. We did not give a set time frame on that, but we are going to be bridging to Ethereum. It's going to help broaden the awareness of the project, and also the big thing here is it's going to allow us to more easily get listed on different exchanges. There's many top 50 exchanges on there that won't list you if you're on the BSC. So we'll be diversified in that way. We'll have the BSC and the Ethereum side as well. And again, the bridge is developed in-house. and it's going to be heavily audited before it's implemented.
Very nice. Is there any other utilities you have planned so far? So that just right now, that's just the focus right now is the bridge over the east side.
No, we have many plans for utilities, but as I stated a moment ago, we don't give inside information to what we're really working on. For example, if we were to tell the community that we're coming out with a certain utility and then we're faced with setbacks or we're unable to deliver that might cause the community to distrust us in some way, so we definitely don't show our cards before we know 100% that it's go time. With our staking utilities, we didn't give any heads up that they were coming out. The second they went live is when we announced it to the community. So I'm essentially, running SquidGrow from an investor standpoint. One of my biggest pet peeves as an investor is when the dev team, announces a utility or some big news, an exchange listing or something, and they give a date or they just announce that they're coming out with it and they never deliver on it. But what they've caused was, hype, leading up to the utility that's never delivered. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. So that's why we're operating the way that we are. We definitely want to ensure that we can deliver on utilities before we tell the community that we're actually working on a utility.
Understandable, and I can really appreciate that as well. We've been into projects where a lot of promises, right? And it never happens. Whether that's because of the unforeseen events or whatever. But because of that reason, people you just lose the trust from the community. So yeah, I think I like that approach. Awesome. Now the LP, regarding the LP right now, you have it in modular locker, right? How long is that being locked for?
It's been locked for 1 year.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can redrop the link to that lock in the community. It is pinned. I did lengthen the lock a couple times leading up to the 1 year lock. So currently right now it's locked for 1 year.
That's pretty pretty long. That's actually very good, especially given that it's a meme token and you don't see that very often. Usually 30 days or 7 days, and the relock it's all for you guys to lock for a year.
We're going to be around. We're going to be around for a lot longer than a year, but that's just to get it going.
Well, awesome. and if you don't mind if I just touch on the liquidity here really quick. A good idea, like the part of the idea, I believe that it is good not to have a LP locked for too long is because inevitably PancakeSwap is going to probably go to a V3, right? So what happens if you are locked longer than that period, so you got to kind of keep that in consideration as well, with the fact that, like I said, I mean, it's pretty much inevitable. So, you want to be able to migrate to that PancakeSwap V3 as well. So I don't necessarily think that there is any necessity to lock it for any longer than that personally. But again, I'm just making a remark.
I mean, a year is a long time for a new token, right? I don't see that very often. So even a year, I mean, that's very long. So that's really good. I'm looking at the total supply here, Satoshi, and you have 4% that's dedicated to giveaway and airdrops. Could you expand on those?
Yeah, as I said, we've actually airdropped out more tokens than that, but we initially set aside token allocation to airdrop to the community. We did do that in the form of essentially offered bonus tokens to anybody that wanted to buy on the chart and provide a transaction hash. We would add a percentage bonus to that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe it was somewhere between 10 to 25% bonus on top of your buy, untaxed, obviously. And after I ran through the initial airdrop allocation amount, I started airdropping from my personal wallet to the community.
Awesome. Now, are you guys doing any kind of giveaway right now, currently at the moment, or in the future soon?
Definitely could take it into consideration, but as of right now, there's nothing planned on the books.
However, we do have a meme contest running on Twitter at the moment. It's running for a week. I think we dropped it like 2 days ago, and I'll have to get the prizes up from memory. I think Dane would have them in his head, but I think it's 5 BNB or something for the first prize, 2.5 BNB for second, and maybe 1 BNB for third. So if you want to jump onto our Twitter and have a look at that as well, we do have that one running at the moment.
So awesome. Now, you guys have been audited, and what company did you guys go through?
Solidity audit.
Solidity Group, yeah.
Now, is that also with your staking as well, or just a contract?
All of our staking and our contract has been audited by Solidity, and you can view those audits in the main TG. We have posted those for everybody to review.
So thanks for that clarification. Just want to commit you to understand that. Because usually what happens is that you have the staking and you have the regular contract, the main contract, and it's important that a project gets both of the staking and the contract audited. So it looks like you guys did that already, so that's great. I'm looking at the phase 3 right now. I think that's where we're at right now. One of the things that really popped out is that you have celebrity and influencer partnership. Have you guys in talks with anyone yet? And can you speak on that?
Dan, you want to take that one?
Yeah, keeping with for not revealing things before they come. I can't say anything as far as who, but we've actually got a ton of people that have come in and given us shout outs. A lot of familiar Twitter influencers. We've had a shout out from Gate.io. We had All Crypto Gems. We're working with Omar from Solitaire Lounge. We've got Venom in there. We've done things with Golem and Caesar. So celebrities in the crypto space are starting to notice, you could say. But then beyond that, we certainly have connections to actual celebrities, and that includes A-listers. So, when the timing is right, we will utilize those. I think from me personally, I would like to see the celebrity stuff come after we land our first bigger exchange, because it opens up the door for more casual investors who will see those advertising avenues to get in the space more easily without having to go into DeFi, which can be confusing, as we all know, for a lot of newbies.
Awesome. So regarding exchanges, right now you guys have 2 exchanges on SEX already, and it looks like you guys in talks with another one. So given that you guys only been around for 1 month, man, meme token, hey man, you guys are moving quick.
I have to say something on that. We actually had some trouble with CMC because of what Satoshi mentioned earlier on with some contract issues. So because of that, it took us nearly 4 weeks to get listed on CMC. And in that time, we actually landed Bitmart and BKEX prior to even going on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. So yeah, we were definitely moving at a crazy pace, and recently got CMC and CG, luckily. So that was nice to check that off the list after having to wait so long. But I think that whole situation was a testament to how strong the community is to be able to continue to push ahead without the FUD storm that sort of ensues without being listed on those services. So yeah, we've got CoinTiger and Dcoin. CoinTiger is live as well. Dcoin also live on Monday. But yeah, we're in talks with several exchanges at the moment. It's really just a matter of which one pull the trigger on first and which one gets announced first, to be honest. But yeah, more are coming, and very excited to unveil those.
So man, really, man, that's in talking to you guys, I can sense that you guys are very unique. This is not your regular meme token, so that's great to see. And I think again the chart kind of reflected that. So that's amazing to see, actually. Awesome. Is there anything else that we missed that you guys want to speak on?
Oh, I meant to say today was pretty cool. There's actually an influencer by the name of Safe Moon Joe. He's been around YouTube for a while in those channels. He actually changed his name today to SquidGrow Joe. So that's pretty cool.
He's actually in the same AMA currently. Maybe if we get a chance, we can pull him up and let him speak.
Yeah. Dude, right there.
Go ahead, Joe.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, SquidGrow Joe?
How's it going?
It's going, man. Definitely, after our about 2-hour conversation last night, I was surprised to wake up to your video and see the name change. I didn't catch it right away, but our mutual buddy Ray from Reflex actually sent it to me, and I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, no, I sat there at the computer. I had a moment where I sat there and I had everything ready to change it, and I was thinking, do I want to do this? And just reflecting on not just conversation, but the past AMAs, hearing everything. I mean, this team they're not. This is something real for for everybody. What the CEO has said before, Satoshi. This is something that is not just for whales. It's holders. Those who even put $100 in. It's for everybody, and I like that. I remember saying before, I'm like, this feels like Safe Moon back when it first started, when it was all exciting and everyone was all excited and the community was all over the place and everybody just want to talk to everybody about it, and there's no attacking each other. Everything's cool and everything's growing, and other communities as well. But it's very unique, and I definitely wanted to make that change. I wanted to move over to SquidGrow because I really liked. I like making YouTube videos, but I like making YouTube videos on things I'm really enthusiastic about, and especially after the 2-hour conversation, I'm definitely even more enthusiastic about SquidGrow, whether it's today, tomorrow, whenever. It's just the amount of things this team is doing is absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, Joe, so for those that may not know who you are, can you give us a little quick introductions, like what do you do? Like the YouTubers, influencers, is that what you do?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. Used to be called Safe Moon Joe. Now it's SquidGrow Joe. Basically, I started my YouTube channel about a year ago, and it was only because I was enthusiastic about crypto, and one in particular. And my wife just said, "Hey, you know what? Just go make a YouTube channel," because I kept talking to her about it. And basically, I made it just talking, "Hey, everybody, how's it going?" And seeing if anyone else out there was excited, wants to talk about particular cryptos. And it just blew up, and kind of caught me off guard, to be honest with you. But I'm there, and I'm just making videos, and I enjoy making videos. I enjoy the feedback. I enjoy reading all the comments and seeing what everyone has to say, and say, "Hey, guys, check this out. Isn't this cool?" Or "Look at this," or "What could this be?" And it's that whole communication, but just through the medium of YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. If you can go ahead and drop the link, man, to your YouTube channel in our Telegram room, that'd be awesome. I'd love for our community to know who you are as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Joe, I just got to say, man, your tweet said it all. That's all I got to say.
I'm looking at a Telegram room now. Somebody said Joe has been converted.
Yeah, I started skeptical, and basically, sorry about that. I started skeptical, and basically I was like, "There's no way this is legit." And then I started looking more into it, and it just, I mean, within a very short amount of time, you just, not only isn't legit, but it's massive, And I think one of the things that got me was at first the billboards. I'm like, billboard? Why are there billboards in Times Square? And this just came out. Like, that just caught me off guard because you just don't see that. That's something that months later, maybe you'll get one billboard in the middle of nowhere, but there was billboards everywhere right off the gate, as well as listings. And like I said, listening to the AMAs and hearing the dev team, these people talk. These people, they have a respect for the holders, to the degree in which you can literally hear it from when they talk. There's a level of respect, of care, of not just, like I said, the whales, but everybody. And it's something that I really like. And I personally respect as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique story. It's almost unbelievable in a way because, Satoshi, he can easily just go and buy a private island somewhere and just, go fishing every day and just have beer. But, to be honest with you, the first time I heard about it, I'm like, you know what, this can't be true. But I dig deep into it, and yeah, I mean, here we are talking to him. It's kind of crazy. But
honestly, on that topic, guys, when I started SquidGrow, I never planned on flexing my wallets. Papa, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe it was Papa Stunks that came into the community as kind of like a disbeliever that did some digging and then dropped some videos about, tracking wallets and kind of put it out there. And unfortunately, it was confirmed by a team member that's no longer on the team. He took it upon himself to actually confirm it. And, at that point, I had to come out with it. Obviously it was met with disbelief. So, we put out videos connecting MetaMask wallets and pictures and, on top of me confirming it. But it was never anticipated. I never anticipated or planned on coming out flexing my wallets. But I definitely think the community loves it and it gives them a sense of security. Because I've got money. I don't need to do anything malicious. I definitely have pure intentions, and this is about the community. So, Papa, if I'm mistaken,
believe it or not, I'm actually not the one that doxed your wallets.
Okay,
that was not me. Somebody actually sent it to me, and I did dig and I looked, and I figured out who you were, but no, somebody else did that.
I just remember seeing somebody post a screen recording going back through the deployer wallet, tracking it back to the feeding wallet, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody knows how to read the blockchain, it's not very hard to find things. And that's another thing, I want to attest about Satoshi is, he had me track all those wallets that got fished to find out exactly how much they lost and give him a total amount, and he refunded them fully. I mean, I've got all the transactions, so that this guy is one of a kind. No other project or dev is going to do that. It wasn't his fault, but he took care of it immediately.
Yeah, 100%, man. I applaud him for doing that. Very honest guy. Satoshi, is there anything else you want to speak on?
I can just go on for hours and hours. So it's all about a balancing act here, because I can just talk crypto all day long. As Joe found out last night, as we got to going, and as Dane knows as well. So I think, we've touched on majority of it, but it's definitely a little easier for me to, kind of answer questions. I still kind of have difficulty talking about myself. I'm not really used to, this kind of attention. Definitely new to me. So I'm getting comfortable with it, but I definitely respond a little better to questions. So if we want to proceed that route, that's fine with me.
So I think we covered everything that we need to talk about regarding the projects. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up the mic for questions, and I'll go ahead and pass the mic to Mike, and he's going to read off some of the questions in the community.
What's going on, guys? Question time. Satoshi, man, that's quite the story. I've been sitting there just gawked at the whole team and what you guys have become. Absolutely amazing. And hopefully I could be in your shoes one day. I'm sure you heard that. But let's get over to the questions. First question comes from Investos Discipline. My question is, right now the price is pumping because you are doing lots of marketing and investing and also advertising. So when all the stuff ends, what is your plan and strategy to make the price of SquidGrow stable and not like another pump and dump?
Well, first of all, there is no end in sight. We obviously know how the crypto space goes, and we got to have continuous marketing and different utilities dropping and big announcement coming out. And that was one of the main reasons why we brought on the Blockchain Brothers, because they can definitely help us achieve that at a very fast pace. So definitely got everybody on board that is needed to continue to move the project. But this isn't just, let's just market it for a month and stop with the marketing and, hopefully, our investors hold. No, the community wants to see continuous growth. They want news, they want exchanges, they want marketing. That's not going to stop. We're just getting going, guys. I mean, everything we've achieved in this short period of time, I mean, it's just a little taste of what the plans are.
Agreed. And like you said earlier, I 100% agree with you. I believe we are all still very early in the crypto space as a whole. All right, so let's see. Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah. Some of these questions didn't go into the thread, so I got to go through the chat here.
Just out of curiosity, Joe, are you in the United States as well?
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Awesome.
Yeah,
I checked out your channel. It's pretty cool.
All right, next question. I'm sorry about that delay there. Next question is coming from Simple Plan. First question is, my question is about your staking as a service. Usually when rewards are paid out, there are variations in the amount paid out depending on the amount of tokens held by each wallet or volume traded. I would like to know how you intend to avoid a situation whereby the rewards paid out are lesser than the gas fees needed to facilitate the transaction.
So our staking rewards are not based on volume at all. Our staking pools are actually fed tokens by us from our reserve wallet. So it will never be dependent on volume at this point, meaning that even if, there is a point where there are no buys or sells on the chart, the staking rewards will remain the same as what we have announced they will be. So at this point, the native token staking is a 50% APY, and as Shib said, the LP staking is 500%. Obviously with, any APY staking, high APY staking, we started off with even higher in the native token staking pool. It was like 200% APY. But, moving forward, if we were to, continue with that amount, it would be unsustainable over, a 12-month period, which is why we kind of shifted around the APYs a little bit and, had a higher APY with the LP staking to kind of incentivize people to move over there because we had less people doing the LP staking. But yeah, we've got over 40% of the supply staked, which would mean
49%.
49% now. It's just crazy. Like, it's half of the supply. So, if you have 50% of the supply staked and an APY of 100% in the native token staking pool, it would mean that over 12 months, we would have to feed the other 50% of the supply into the staking pool just to feed out the rewards, which is why we just, we're adjusting them accordingly as we move forward based on how much is staked at that time. But yeah, to go back to your question, it's not dependent on volume at all. So it will never, the rewards being paid out will never be, lower than the amount of the gas fees based on volume.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question there, brother. Appreciate that nice detailed answer. Moving on here is to 24/7 Chilled. He has two questions. First is, why going to a CEX when it could affect your tax and tokenomics system? That's his first question.
Can you read that one more time for me? Why apply for?
He said, "Why go to a SEX? Why go to a centralized exchange if it could change our taxing or affect our taxes and stuff?" But basically, I mean, put simply, and you can expand on this, Shibtoshi. But the exchanges, the early exchanges that we listed on it, especially Bitmart and BKEX, they actually do have buy and sell taxes, so it doesn't actually remove our taxes at all with those ones. with some of the smaller exchanges, we are mainly, with CoinTiger and Dcoin, we are jumping on some of these smaller exchanges, and we put an announcement out about this. It's mainly to add to our overall volume on CMC, and the reason that we do that is because when you apply to be listed on tier 1 or, some of the bigger exchanges, you need to have a certain amount of trading volume. But yeah, coming back to it, the early bigger ones, Bitmart and BKEX, they actually do have buy and sell taxes. I think that's what you were asking anyway.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. Next question comes from Frankie. As I see there's a lot of Squid coins in the market right now. What makes your own token unique from the other projects out there? And what are the plans of implementing more utilities in the future? And I know you spoke a little bit on this already.
That one, unless anyone wants to.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat the question? Actually, you said something about there's a lot of Squid tokens on the market right now, and what sets us apart? Well, I think honestly, looking at our chart there on the screen that you have up, and you guys are listening to us here in the AMA, I really think it speaks for itself. We definitely are at the moment in the market, I guess, the biggest Squid token that's around. I haven't really, been keeping a really close eye on what's been going on, but I have seen a number of tokens pop up recently that either have the Squid name or the Grow name in them. But really, a lot of them aren't lasting very long. And we're definitely kind of at the top when it comes to those ones at the moment.
I agree 100%. You can see it resonating in the rest of the community, where there is quite a few other ones out there, but you guys are up top for sure. Very unique background between the whole team here. His next question is also, what plan do you guys have to attract non-crypto investors? Let's say there's a Squid Game movie lover that wants to invest in your token. Is there any plan on how to educate them on how to invest in your project?
Dane, do you want to take that?
Educating people to come in is something that we actually, as Satoshi sort of lightly touched on, something that we do want to do. So we're looking at ways to kind of spread awareness of how to invest better and do things more securely. It's oftentimes when you have a high caliber project, you see people come into the project and then have all sorts of issues that are not localized to you, but are just kind of issues of pancake swap, for example. And so we try to pin messages and put warnings out. But over time, we'll definitely get our website updated to reflect more of these, warnings or tips. And, we'll probably take it a step further, with some future utilities and get into some type of education, perhaps, if we choose to go down that path. But it is, it's a problem that it sort of affects the entire DeFi space because so many people come in and there's so many ways they can get taken advantage of. So in helping, deliver a safe, secure project, one of the things we could do as a service is for sure try to spread awareness of how to invest safe and securely. So that's something we'll very likely expand upon, and you'll see that reflected in the chat on the website soon.
That sounds great. Yeah, and just to add that too, I remember, back when I first started investing in pre-sales many moons ago at this point, pancake swap was the most confusing thing to try to understand. So educational pieces are key to new investors for sure. Moving on to Over's question is, it's extremely difficult to attract new investors in this bearish market. So what does SquidGrow plan to ensure that this is sustainable and that you will keep the system from collapsing with such a high APY? Also, do you have any unconventional marketing plans to introduce this to the non-crypto people? And I believe we just kind of touched on this.
Yeah, I think we touched on that one pretty well. Unless you want to add anything to it, Toshi. I know we don't really want to unveil anything that we haven't, gotten really close to coming out with. So on that note, I can't really say anything about the unconventional marketing other than the only type of marketing that I truly love is unconventional methods, because it does work when you do things that others aren't doing, kind of the road less traveled. And I will say that, the market's not great. but there's still a ton of money in the sector, and you've just got to find the people that are in crypto right now to make a successful project. Sure, maybe casuals aren't flying into it as much as they once were, but they'll come back. And in the meantime, by attracting the people that are already in it, for the most part, when they do come back from some of our unconventional methods, they'll be coming into a really strong foundation in the community that we have created by attracting people that are still here. And yeah, I think you can relate that to Shiba, where Satoshi, the story comes from. Back in August 2020, I actually went into that chat a couple times, and I was like, meh, nothing special, just another shitcoin. That's what I thought. And they grew and they grew and they grew, and the community kept bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it got to where it was. So sometimes the opportunities are kind of hidden gems, and we're still that 20 million market cap. Like, come on, that's great and everything for where we are, but compare that to $1 billion project, and I think you can see where we may be headed.
Hey, Dane, I will add this. This is the Huntsman. I'm looking at Twitter right now, and I just refreshed my trending, and we are trending under business and finance organically with 12,600 tweets for hashtag SquidGrow. So all of this is working collectively as a community.
Wow.
I'm glad you added that. That's
baby.
How often do you see that, right? Like trending on Twitter without paying for it. I think that's also a testament to the power of our community, because a lot of people are entering into our meme contest right now and using that hashtag. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Because sometimes you don't even need to do unconventional things. The community does it for you by being unconventional in the fact of how bullish they are.
I'm speechless on that one. Amazing. Absolutely. Moving on to the next question. Brendan here is, on your website, you said staking is the utility that you offer. My question is, has your team already done your brainstorming, researching, and has those utilities already been decided for what the future is? And is the marketing, or is it that you will decide on them as you go along? Sorry, trying to decipher a little bit of the words.
It's pretty much the same answer. It's the same question as 2 questions ago, really. In terms of like future utility and future marketing, which Dane really touched on the marketing thing. In terms of future utility, the only thing that we have announced at this time is the ETH bridge, which comes back to our motto that under promise and over deliver. If you look back over the last few weeks when we have launched a utility, we haven't told the community about it first. We have just dropped it as it went live and let everyone know. The only exception to that was the ETH bridge. But what I can say is that, the utilities that we have live now and the ETH bridge are definitely not the end of the road in terms of utility for SquidGrow. We have a big team of developers behind us and lots of firepower. So really, we're just getting started.
Real quick, we're trending number 8 on CMC, 2 spots behind Shiba Inu.
Oh, nice.
Do you
All right, appreciate that.
Do you mind
go ahead, Ryan.
Do you mind if I make a couple of statements before I ask a quick question, if that is okay?
Yeah, jump in.
Absolutely. And after this too, I do encourage anybody, if you do have a question you'd like to ask on voice after Naeem here, please feel free to unmute yourself. Just don't talk over one another.
Perfect. So one of the things that I want to say, and I'm going to start this off a little weird, but hear me out, and then I hope it'll make sense in the end. So Floyd Mayweather in recent days, he said something like, "I'm the greatest boxer. I'm greater than Muhammad Ali," right? And Mike Tyson's response to that was, if you were truly that great, why can't you walk your children to school by yourself, right? And he said that being great is not about being, wealthy or protecting yourself from the people. Rather, it is, being accepted by the people and using that wealth to build something greater for the people, right? With that, I think it's safe to say, Shibtoshi over here, in my eyes, absolutely the people's champ in this space, first and foremost. Because I know a lot of people, have had this question of like, why would Shibtoshi even, get involved in a project like this or whatever. So the way I'm seeing this, and again, I'm thankful to Shibtoshi and to the team. I mean, I've known AirDub for quite some time. And I had no idea he was even involved with this project for a minute. But with that being said, the thing of it is, what they're doing is truly giving hope to crypto, giving hope to regular investors like myself. And, we needed something like this in the space. We needed something. And I mean, it takes 5 minutes in the Telegram to realize that something great is being built, truly greatness right in front of our eyes. The community is getting together in such a manner that we've seen a few times only in this space. And every time we see that, we see greatness being, I mean, we saw it with Doge and GameStop during those times. We saw it with Shiba, we saw it with SafeMoon, we saw it with Floki, and now we're seeing it with SquidGrow. Because, when you have a project that is absolutely amazing and which it absolutely is, I encourage everybody to go and do your own research. No financial advice, only medical advice over here. But the project is absolutely amazing. The team is 110% capable with, like they said themselves, with the motto of under promise and over deliver. So what does that mean? That means that they're not just building on unsustainable hype. They're building in a manner that is absolutely sustainable and guarantees longevity of the project. And with the community getting on board the way they have, I truly believe that, I've heard people say things like, oh, SquidGrow is the next such and such, SquidGrow is the next such and... No, SquidGrow is the first SquidGrow. And I truly 100% believe that if these guys continue to do what they're doing, if they continue to deliver the way that they're delivering, this could absolutely 100% in my mind reach billions of market cap. There is no shadow of doubt in my mind. And, it's because when you take all those three factors into consideration, there is just absolutely a no-brainer. I don't want to be too much of a microphone hog over here, so I'm going to go ahead and ask my question. And that is, as we all know, to get in certain exchanges, you have to basically be a zero tax token, or for instance in Binance. So is that one of the goals for the future, to eventually get listed on Binance? And would that mean that SquidGrow would eventually go to a 0% tax token? Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thanks, Naim. Do you want to handle that, Dane?
I'll let you.
Yeah, I'll handle it. Yeah, obviously, guys, it's not a secret. Obviously, we're aiming for the top exchanges. So obviously, one of the requirements to achieve that is zero tax. So to answer your question, yes, that is the goal, and that is the plan. So there it is, guys. That's put my hand a little bit.
Exactly. And I think, the way that we'll get to that is we'll scale it down with time. Some of the larger tier ones don't require zero tax, but the big guys, we know who they are. They prefer that, or at least they prefer a very low tax. So we could probably get away with, like a somewhere between 2 to 4% tax at DeFi. But they consider, I think, anything above 5 to be fairly high. Even though I don't think it is, especially if you pay attention to some of these other DeFi projects that are charging sometimes 15 to 20% for taxes. I think 8's pretty good, and it actually adds a good amount of stability to the holders because you have to clear 16%, right? That's no secret. So taxes can actually serve a purpose beyond just collecting liquidity in our case to make people more diamond-handed. So that's a good thing. But yes, we do plan to scale that down as we grow, because we will have our liquidity where we want it, right? Right now, that tax is pretty much only about getting liquidity higher so that as we continue to create higher price floors, they'll stay there. Well, when someone wants to exit, maybe a big whale, dumps a bag and it scares everybody. Well, it makes a very minimal impact as opposed to such a huge one. Because as you know, if you've seen certain projects, when they parabola up so fast in DeFi, oftentimes they'll get a massive multiple $100,000 sell. And when that happens, the liquidity can't support it. And all of a sudden you have a cascade effect, and often you'll never get back to that all-time high. And then you can try, but it's just so brutal to do so because so many people are in positions where they're wrecked, so they just constantly sell to exit. And you can see that in so many tokens. So with that said, liquidity and also a healthy uptrend is something that we are looking to achieve as we do grow. So, when you see like we were at 25 million last night, we scaled back to 21 tonight. So that's, 4 million pullback, but that's actually very healthy because now we're creating a nice floor around this area. And it's, so that's thanks to liquidity and also the tax. But yes, over time, lower taxes are something to look forward to. So I think that'll be bullish when that happens as well.
100% agree. And that's what I love about you guys, is you really don't see that 100% going to LP like that. Super strong floor. Thank you for your statement, name, and also your question there. Before I get into another text question, I'd like to urge anybody, if you have a voice question, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
Is it okay if I ask my question?
17.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, mate.
Hello?
My question is kind of a general question. It's not really, I guess it can be related. I want to know your answers to this related to crypto. So if you could go back in time, what would you do differently? It can be for anyone on the team.
I would have followed Satoshi and been like, I'm going to compete with you to get the biggest bag in Shiba. That's what I would have done.
Okay, I'm back. I somehow turned my volume down so I couldn't hear anybody talking.
Do you want me to ask the question?
Go for it.
Yeah.
We're going to go back in time and compete with you for the biggest bag in Shiba.
Yeah, basically, if you could go back.
Hang on, say that one more time.
We're going to go back in time and compete with you for the biggest bag in Shiba.
Well, goddamn, let's do it.
Let's go.
Hey, you guys might have beaten him on the biggest bag, but I guarantee you couldn't have outheld him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Shibtoshi, the question was, if you could go back in time and change anything or one thing, related to your crypto life, what would it be? Or would you change anything at all?
Well, damn. Obviously, if you change one thing, there would probably be a chain of events that would probably alter, the outcome. So, I'm honestly really content with, how everything's played out. I honestly wouldn't change anything. I wish I would have took a interest in Bitcoin maybe a little sooner. It might have opened up some different avenues. But with the exception of that, there's nothing in regards to, I don't know if he was getting at maybe, getting into projects a little earlier or going heavier or pulling profit, but I'm 100% content with how everything played out with me. And obviously if you go back and you change just one thing, it could have altered everything from there forward. So, I'm completely content with the way that everything has worked out. I don't regret not buying more SHIB. I don't regret not buying more Ethereum or Bitcoin. Everything has played out, perfectly for me and at the pace that, I've been able to manage, if let's say I would have dropped, 20K into SHIB that day, over the period of a couple of days. I don't think SHIB would be where it's at. Everybody would have saw just a massive wallet. I already had a massive wallet, but they would have seen an even larger wallet, and it might have affected people, from investing in the SHIB. They're like, oh, this guy owns, such a large percentage, he could just dump the chart. So, the change one thing is really difficult to speak on in regards to cryptocurrency. I'm completely content with it. The one thing I wish I would have regretted was having a higher wallet contest with the Huntsman on our first honeypot. That cost us a fairly decent amount of money.
Hey, you're making it up to me right now. So finally.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
essentially went back. We were watching each other's wallets, and we'd see one another buy more. So then we'd buy more, or I'd buy more. He'd see that I bought more, so he'd buy more. And just okay. I'm gonna wait till you go to sleep, and I'm gonna buy more. It just kind of went like that.
Yeah, this one's much better. I'll tell you that.
Oh, 100 times better, man. I mean, not only am I, I know my goals and my ambitions and the whole point of the project. It's definitely very humbling to see the community, grow the way that it has and take such a large interest in not only the project but into you personally. I get a lot of DMs, which I try very hard to respond to each and every one of them. Although I need to start being careful because through all my interactions of answering questions, apparently there's some people with malicious intent that decide to try to always throw me in TG jail. So it definitely hinders things in some aspect. But, it's definitely been really fun to engage with the community. While we've been on this AMA, I've been engaging with different members of the community, just kind of talking back and forth about different things, just very casual conversation. And my boy MJ, if he's on here somewhere, he can attest to that. We did an AMA on his platform, and we started talking in DMs, and he's a really good buddy of mine. We talk on the phone, we talk, throughout messages, and I'm very blessed to have a channel to allow me to connect with people. Unfortunately, right now, for security, I'm not coming out and doxing myself, because it is a great risk. Just having Shibtoshi and being reachable by messages. I have people trying to send IP trackers to me in messages, trying to make it appear as a transaction hash saying that they have some kind of issue. I don't click on links. I have a little app that I run links through, to essentially tell me if it's secure or not. But I've had a lot of malicious stuff sent to me. So, that's, definitely a vulnerability. And if I had a face out there circulating around and somebody was able to track down my location, it could be very dangerous to not only me, but my loved ones as well. But with that being said, in the limited capacity that I'm able to engage with people, over TG, it's been a blessing. I've met a lot of great people that I talk to, in conversation daily, and I'm blessed.
100%, and I can only imagine, being in your position, the types of DMs and everything you encounter day to day. But I can say after this, when I hop into a DM with you, I will be only sending a YouTube link. So moving on. Go ahead.
Which I will click with caution.
I agree, 100%, no problem. So would anyone else like to ask their question on voice before I jump back into these text questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Shib. I hang out.
Shout it out, brother.
This is MJ, and I hang out all the time with him. And man, I tell you this, you will never meet a more humble person. I talked to quite a few people about Shib because they hit me up. They're like, man, what's the story or all these things. And I said, man, the one thing that attracts me to people is when they're humble and when they love to help people, because that's what I do. I love to help people, and that's a testament to Shiv. And his team. It's really amazing, honestly. And I've been around the block and back. Grew up in the streets. Grew up in the schools too. So educated on both sides, and he's just torn from a different cloth. And you can see it, and really it's a reflection of the project. You see his leaders, or I should say leaders, his teammates, and you see the community, and man, like, when's the last time you seen a BSC project rocking like this? You just want it, and I really believe, like, I'm kind of the same sentiment of name. I would say like this ain't gonna be, you know, the next Shiba or anything like that. It's gonna be the first SquidGrow, and it's gonna do things that, you know, people have never seen in this space. So I'm grateful, and like he said, blessed to be a part of it. But even more to have a friend, not like, oh yeah, this guy has all this money or whatever, but to have a friend that's just like super humble and helping what's going to turn out to be, when you look at the impact and the residual effect, it's going to be millions of people that will be helped when this project. I don't even want to say will be when this project is all said and done, because I don't think there will be an ending, but through the process there'll be millions of people. So thanks for having us, and she, you know how we get down, man, and we'll talk soon.
Kind words, MJ.
Kind words, brother. Appreciate that. I'm glad to have you both here. Next question, we'll jump back into the text here. You know what, Dev Docs, did you have a quick question? I see you unmuted yourself.
Dev Docs is actually part of the team.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, my bad, guys. I accidentally hit the unmute. I'm just listening in. You guys have been killing it. I'm just a quick consultant on the side here, but no, I'm proud of this team. Everyone's been killing it, and I'm glad we're on here talking. That was an accident.
No worries. Awesome, brother.
Do you mind if I just say one more thing? Sorry, I kind of feel like, you know, every now and then I can be a little bit of a microphone hog, but I just really want to say this as well, because, you know, my philosophy is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Let me repeat that one more time. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? Now, this team, and I really want to do a shout out to the whole team, right? Because they have an absolute amazing plan. They've been sticking to it from the beginning, not deviating from it. And they also have the capability and the firepower behind it and the community behind it to execute such, you know, plan. So with that being said, I mean, like I said earlier on, it's just an absolute no-brainer, you know, because we have a lot of projects in the space that not necessarily don't have a plan, right? But they don't necessarily have the means or the capabilities to execute said plan. And with this team, you know, like I believe that's one of the key differences that, you know, makes them stand out in the space. And I believe that we will continue to see that, not just, you know, with the community sentiments, but also, you know, in the charts and everywhere else. I believe 100% that it is continuing and will continue to reflect on absolutely everything. So with that being said, honestly, man, you know, everybody on the team, I take my hat off to all of you guys. You've been absolutely, and you know what? It's refreshing. It's 100% refreshing. I mean, just to go in a Telegram and hang out and have fun, you know, like it's absolutely fun just being there. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those places where you go and you unwind and everybody is so positive and you know, everything is just so great. It's just refreshing to see something like this in the BSC, especially in recent days. You know, and truly, I mean, that's what I see, you know, this project standing out from any other project at the moment, you know, and truly, I think mountain heights, you know, are going to get reached. But keep in mind, guys, right now we're still at the bottom. This is the beginning. So just continue with what you guys are doing. And like I said, I mean, you know, you have my respect, you have my support in any way, shape, or form possible. All of you.
And I just want to add, you know, not one person is more valuable than the other. When it comes to the community or the team, we're all working together to spread awareness and for the overall bigger picture of the project. You know, without the community, we wouldn't be able to spread awareness like we are and achieve what we have achieved so far, you know, and at the same time, the team, you know, the team all works flawlessly together on different tasks, you know, but it's all for the same goal. So no one person is more valuable than the next. And that's my true views on it.
I absolutely love that. You know, you hear it right here, guys. full community, SquidGrow community, USA community. These are humble. This is a humble team as well as a humble community that are coming here, and I just see a great future. And of course, not financial advice, but I could see a great future here. Now, jumping back into the text questions here, this is more of a voting question coming from BayX. The community is a vital part of a community project. Were you guys taking feedback from the community on an early stage, or has every decision been from the team only?
I'll address that. So every decision leading up to the announcement of the bridge was made within the team. When it came to the bridge, we did something that we had not done normally, which was actually announce it to the community and actually take feedback on the bridge. So with that, we got a lot of feedback on, feedback and suggestions. So, with those suggestions, the team and we went back and looked into it. And so to answer the question, yes, we take feedback from the community leading up to the bridge. Essentially, it was just all internal, but definitely enjoy getting feedback from our community members. And we take it into our utmost consideration when we are recommended something to look into or feedback, whether it's negative or positive. Our DMs are always open for such scenarios. So we definitely take it into consideration. We don't brush it off and just feel like we know best. We definitely, listen with both of our ears and take it into consideration and bring it to the table and discuss it.
I can personally attest to that. As an investor in the project, I've seen this team run through the Telegram, and the Telegram community has suggested examples of, like, let's say, meme contests or big buy contests or giveaways. The community's reaching out to them in Telegram, and they're actually paying attention. So I just wanted to mention that because that is something really special that the team is doing for us.
Appreciate that, Huntsman. I do. Next question from Not a Wheel is, can you make a BUSD SquidGrow pair to farm LPs? And that's his first question.
That's something we could talk about. I think actually we might have already discussed this once or twice within the team, but we can definitely discuss it after the AMA.
All right, perfect. Second question is, given the recent volatility of BNB and the risk of impermanent loss, I think it would help greatly because more of the people would provide liquidity with the risk of the impermanent loss with the BUSD versus a BNB pair. I guess that was more of a statement, actually.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was just a statement to the question.
Let's see. I'll take one or two more questions here. I got to scroll. There's quite a bit here. And like always, any more questions, please feel free to join into SquidGrow's Telegram and pop them beautiful questions over to them if I missed any. Next question is coming from Thompson. Considering the controversy behind the Squid Game name and the first token that rug pulled, how will you guys pull this up and will gain investors' trust to prove to them that you're not just jumping on the trend, but actually trying to build a solid community in a project worth investing in? And I know most of this question has probably been answered, but for the record.
Yeah. You want to go, Shib? Okay.
Go ahead.
I think, originally when we were first going to launch the token, we did battle with that idea a little bit, that the whole squid thing has a bit of a negative connotation to it associated with the previous squid tokens. But really, it was just extra motivation for us to drop a squid token and really change the name of the meme altogether into a positive one. And in saying that, as I said earlier as well, I think really in touching on what you asked about the community, I think both the community and the chart and the team here really speaks for itself in that we are accomplishing that goal.
So, like you said, it truly does speak for yourself. I mean, so Satoshi here, you guys officially hit 1,000x, and how recent was that 1,000x?
That was like 12 hours ago.
He's like, oh my god. So I'll take before I kick it back to Seattle here. One more time, I'd like to ask the community: do you have any more questions you'd like to ask on voice before I get the last text question in?
There's one question. There's one question I always like to ask when we do an AMA. I always like to ask the people hosting the AMA, like what they look for in a project to invest in themselves.
That's such a great question there, brother. So for me, with anything with my investment, I always look at the people behind it, right? You can have the best plan, you can have the best concept, but you don't have the right people behind it. Honesty, transparency, then the project doesn't, the concept or the plan doesn't mean anything. They don't mean anything really. So with that, in talking to the team here, man, I can really sense the honesty, the transparency, the humbleness in the team. Like Liam said earlier, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? And you can see that the team has a strong directions of what they want to do. But not only that, within a short period of time, they're proven that they have proof that they're also able to execute. So I think those are crucial, man. So that's what I look for. Is at the core of it, I look for the team, the people behind the project, and I really like what I'm hearing, from the team so far.
100%. And to add to what Seattle said there, personally for me, I like to make it a little bit simpler for me before I jump into the whole background of the community, the owners, and the project itself. Is I'll go right to the contract. I like to read the contract for any sort of weird implements, crazy things that simply shouldn't be there, or just why is that there. And then from there, if I like it, I'll push on to checking out the community, also how active the dev is and how honest they are, the quality of the website or utilities that they come up with. But it's just 100% encompassed around, I guess, trust. As much as you can vet trust, as hard as it is in this space.
Yeah,
100%. I actually vet my projects the same way, starting with the contract. And obviously, if the contract's not published, I don't give it a peace of mind at all. If you can't view the contract and look for those malicious things, or be able to find something questionable and bring it to the dev team to ask them why that's there, I don't touch it with a 20-foot stick. So I mean, I vet projects the same.
100%. All right, so jumping back to the questions here. And that was a really good question. We've actually never got asked that. I like that. Thank you for that. Last question we're going to take for a text here before we jump into closure from Seattle and a giveaway is from another question from Not a Whale. Do you have any plans to expand to the bilingual communities for your project?
Yeah,
I'll answer that one. Actually, those chats are being set up as we speak, and we already do have a Chinese chat. We will publish all those links as soon as they are ready.
Thanks, Papa.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Papa. I'm going to kick it back to you, Seattle.
Right. Thanks, Mike, for those questions. There's a lot of questions there. So, yeah, I really encourage you guys to protect the community. Ask questions there if you need to. Seems like, you guys have an amazing community. A lot of people are vouching for you guys. That's amazing to see. So with that, Satoshi and the team, is there a last word you want to leave us with before Mike he does his prize giveaway?
I just wanted to say quickly, if anyone gets a chance, jump over into our Telegram and have a chat with the community and the mods. And if you have any questions, as Shibtoshi said, you're always welcome to, send a personal message to either Shibtoshi or myself. We're constantly speaking with the community and answering questions. But I also just wanted to let everyone know that just in the last couple of hours, both of our SpaceX and our New York Times Square billboards have gone live again for the second round this time. And I've just posted and pinned them in our Telegram, so you can come and have a look if you're interested in that as well.
Oh, and not to mention, we pumped BKEX to the top trading volume of all exchanges.
Very nice. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, Satoshi, man, it was a pleasure chatting with you guys, you and your team. Really appreciate everyone coming to this AMA today. Again, this is not financial advice. Make sure you guys do your due diligence. Go over there, be part of the community, and do your research accordingly. For me, I love the team. It seems like they're legit, and that's what I look for. So with that, Mike is going to go ahead and do a prize giveaway. I'm not sure how he does this every time, but he takes out the names. We have 270 people came in, Mike?
Oh my God. We had 349 total participants tonight. And I'm extremely transparent. I sit here on the computer while we're going through questions, while they're doing the presentation, and I get everybody's name all typed out. So we had, and I'm sure, going through questions, I probably missed a good 20 or 30. But we've hit an all-time record over 261 for a total of 349 tonight. Astronomical. I love it.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Mike,
100%.
let's do $100 giveaway. Let's increase that. Usually we do one for the questions and. Oh, by the way, Satoshi, what we'd like to do is we'd like to raise awareness to your Telegram room by having our members go to your room, and Mike usually go there and pick a win over there. Is that something that you want us to do? Send people to your room as well, just to raise awareness to your Telegram?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sounds good. Mike, why don't we do a $200 giveaway today, man? Since we, I love the team, great project, and let's increase that. Let's do $200 giveaway.
I like it, 100%. Real quick, Satoshi, I just have to ask. Sometimes when we go to send the community over, they'll put the @ symbol in, great AMA over at USA Crypto Group, and sometimes it gets flagged. Should they leave that @ symbol out?
Arda, what's your thoughts on that?
Look, at the moment, I think as long as the word USA Crypto Group is not blocklisted, I think it should be fine. But it's up to them if they just want to do it as like a, they can try that. If it works, then that's great. It's not blocklisted, so it should be fine.
All right, perfect. Appreciate that. And we can always switch up the tactics, and I'll be monitoring that to tell the community if there's anything different. With that being said, we're going to grab 2 off the wheel tonight for random attendees, and there was many questions tonight, also some that I didn't get to read. I will go through every one of them and pick an additional $25 winner, as well as jump over to your Telegram in about 10, 15 minutes, just to give everybody a good chance to join in over there and be a little active before I pick that last winner over there. With that being said, let's grab these 2 winners off the wheel. Shuffle, shuffle. Man, look at that wheel. You can't even see the names. Umar, congratulations. $25 winner tonight. Congratulations. Let's go for a second. Lamper, congratulations. Our last $25 winner off the random wheel here. That is all I have for the wheel tonight. And I will be over in your group in a little bit after I button up things with the pin post here in my group. I just wanted to leave you guys with an amazing AMA tonight. Well speaking, well articulated all around. You guys have an amazing team. With that being said, that's it from me. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks to everybody for coming out and listening to us and engaging with us and asking questions. I hope to see you in the Telegram. Pop over there. If you want to just hang out, that's fine too. Our DMs are always open. So if you've got any questions, concerns, or just kind of want to get to know us on a little more personal level, don't hesitate to shoot DMs. I personally go through my messages a couple times a day to try to answer everybody that I'm getting messages from.
Yeah, thanks again. With you guys, unique story. We have connection to PR, man. I would love to. I think you guys should run some PR out there. I think that will really, take you guys to the next level. So let us know. Let us know if you guys need to do some PR because we do have some connections out there.
Perfect.
And right after I close this up here, Subtoshi and RW, I'll be sure to kick you both a copy when it's uploaded, which will be tonight, very shortly, a YouTube link to this AMA tonight.
Great, thank you.
Hey, I guess I'll click on the link and watch it again.
Love it.
All right, guys. Thank you. I have to run myself as well. But again, guys, really appreciate you guys having you guys here. So you guys have a good night, good day, good morning, wherever you are. And I'll be over there hanging out with you guys for sure.
Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Take care, guys. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.